There are moments in life when a single message has the power to break through years of noise. Moments when something ancient, something timeless, reaches out and grabs your soul. This might be one of those moments for you, because what you're about to hear isn't just history. A mirror held up to your spirit, reflecting what you've forgotten in the rush of everyday life. Mahatma Gandhi, a name that echoes across continents, decades, and generations. But beyond the statues, the textbooks, and the distant reverence, there was a man. A fragile, flawed, yet fiercely awakened man who carried within him a truth so powerful it lit the fire of millions. And just maybe, that same truth is about to reignite something inside you tonight. You see, Gandhi didn't lead with armies. He led with conviction. He didn't conquer with weapons. He conquered with presence. He wasn't trying to impress the world. He was trying to awaken it. And in a world like ours, so loud, so cynical, so exhausted, his voice still whispers like a quiet storm through the centuries. Be the change you wish to see in the world. But here's the thing. Those words are not just a quote for coffee mugs and Instagram captions. They are a challenge, a call that doesn't knock politely, it shakes your entire being awake. Think about it. When was the last time you truly looked at your life and asked yourself, am I living in alignment with the change I long for? Or have I slowly become a spectator in my own story, waiting for someone else to fix what only I can face? Gandhi's journey wasn't glamorous. It was gritty. It was about standing barefoot on the burning ground of injustice and still choosing peace over rage. It was about defying empires not with violence, but with unshakable inner strength. And it was about transforming personal pain into collective awakening. Every principle he lived by was forged in the fire of his own struggles. He was insulted, beaten, imprisoned, mocked. Yet his light never dimmed. It grew brighter because he understood something most of us forget. The power that changes the world is not out there. It's in here, in the quiet choices, in the unseen sacrifices, in the daily decision to choose courage over comfort. As you listen, don't just hear his story. Feel yours through it, because somewhere between his footsteps and his silences, you might find the strength you've been searching for. The kind of strength that doesn't shout, it radiates. The kind that doesn't demand attention, it commands respect through authenticity. Stay with me, because by the end of this journey, the last principle we'll explore may just change the way you see your entire life. Long before Gandhi became a symbol, he was just a man trying to understand his place in a world that didn't make sense. He wasn't born with divine certainty. He wrestled with fear. He made mistakes. He doubted himself deeply. But here's what set him apart. He didn't run from his doubts. He listened to them. He allowed his struggles to carve wisdom into his soul. While many people spend their lives numbing discomfort, Gandhi walked straight into it. He believed that real change begins not in the streets, but in the quiet corners of the heart. Because before you can transform the world, you must first confront yourself. And that is terrifying. We love the idea of changing the world, but we fear the reality of changing ourselves. It's easier to point fingers than to face the mirror, easier to blame than to rebuild, easier to stay asleep than to awaken to uncomfortable truths. But Gandhi's life was proof that transformation is born in silence, in those sleepless nights when your soul starts whispering questions you can't ignore anymore. Am I contributing to the world I dream of, or just complaining about it? Am I living by my values, or have I quietly traded them for comfort? He answered these questions not with speeches, but with action. Every step he took, every fast he endured, every injustice he met with courage, was a declaration to the universe. I will not let the darkness outside me extinguish the light within me. That's not easy. It's never easy, especially in a world that rewards noise over depth, appearance over truth, speed over meaning. But here's where it gets personal. Somewhere inside you, there's a quiet knowing, a place that recognizes when you're living small, when you're drifting away from your essence. And no matter how much noise you create to drown it out, that voice never leaves. It waits, patiently. Gandhi chose to listen to that voice. And it transformed not just his life, but the destiny of nations. Imagine what could happen if you stopped running from your own inner truth. Imagine the ripple effect Instead of waiting for the world to change, you became the starting point of that change. It wouldn't require fame, or power, or perfection, just honesty, consistency, and courage. Gandhi understood that revolutions don't always start with loud cries in the streets. Sometimes they begin with a single person deciding, in the stillness of their heart, "Enough. I will no longer live disconnected from what I know is right." And just maybe this is that moment for you. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Because the truth is, the world doesn't change when someone rises. It changes when you do. Stay with me, because in the next part we'll dive into a principle Gandhi lived that has the power to turn even the most ordinary life into a force of transformation. One of Gandhi's most radical beliefs was disarmingly simple. In a gentle way, you can shake the world. Think about that for a second. We're taught that to make an impact, we need power, titles, wealth, followers, connections. But Gandhi proved that gentleness, when rooted in truth, can be more explosive than any weapon. He understood something profound, that true strength doesn't come from dominating others. It comes from mastering yourself. In a time when the British Empire seemed unstoppable, Gandhi stood barefoot, unarmed, with nothing but his resolve. And he faced an empire not with hate, but with unwavering peace. People mocked him. They called him naive, weak, unrealistic. But history remembers his silence louder than their shouting. Why? Because the kind of peace Gandhi embodied wasn't passive. It was fierce. It was the kind of peace that refuses to bow to injustice. The kind that looks evil in the eye and says, "You cannot control who I choose to be." And here's where this hits home. You and I may not be facing empires, but we face storms every single day. Betrayals that leave us bleeding inside. Disappointments that crush our spirit. Losses that change the way we breathe. And moments when the world feels so heavy that giving up seems easier than standing tall. It's in those moments that Gandhi's principle becomes a lifeline, because the true battle is not out there, it's within. The war between fear and faith, between resentment and grace, between the impulse to retaliate and the courage to rise above. When you respond to cruelty with bitterness, you become chained to the very darkness you despise. But when you choose gentleness, not weakness, but conscious gentleness, you reclaim your power. You stop being defined by what happens to you and start being defined by how you respond. Gandhi's quiet defiance shook the foundations of an empire, not because he was louder, but because he was truer. And maybe that's exactly what your life has been waiting for. Not a perfect plan, not approval, not permission, but the quiet, unshakable decision to stop letting pain turn you into someone you're not. Look at your life for a moment. How many battles have you fought with clenched fists, only to end up exhausted and unchanged? How many times have you believed that strength meant fighting fire with fire, only to watch both sides burn? Gentleness is not surrender. It's strategy. It's wisdom. It's the ability to hold your ground with grace, to stay centered when the world tries to pull you apart. And here's the beautiful irony. The gentler you become, the stronger your impact grows. Because people can resist arguments, but they can't ignore presence. They can shut their ears to noise, but not to truth that radiates from a calm soul. Gandhi didn't just talk about this, he lived it. Every fast, every march, every quiet moment of defiance was a testament that softness anchored in courage can move mountains. And perhaps this is your reminder. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You just need to be real. Stay with me. Because the next principle Gandhi embodied might just flip the way you see your purpose in this world. There's a reason Gandhi's life continues to echo long after he's gone. He lived by principles that weren't just meant to inspire, they were meant to transform. And one of his most powerful truths was this: the future depends on what you do today. Simple? Yes. But beneath its simplicity lies a force that can alter destinies. We often talk about the future as if it's some faraway place, waiting patiently for us to arrive. But Gandhi understood that the future isn't waiting. It's being built in every choice we make right now, every word we speak, every act of kindness or cruelty. Every time we choose courage over fear, love over bitterness, truth over comfort. This truth hits harder as we grow older. When we're young, we believe time is endless. We waste days as if they were infinite. But at 35, 45, 55, we start to feel the weight of time differently. We see the years in the faces of our children, in the memories tucked away in old photographs, in the dreams we postponed because someday felt safer than today. Gandhi refused to live for someday. He acted as if every moment mattered, because it did, and it still does. Every movement he led began not with grand speeches, but with small, deliberate steps, a simple march, a single act of defiance, a quiet decision to no longer cooperate with injustice. And from those small beginnings, entire nations shifted. You might not be leading a revolution, but make no mistake, your choices ripple far beyond what you can see. The way you treat the people around you, the way you show up for your own soul, the way you decide today to live aligned with your truth, all of it builds the future you will one day walk into. It's easy to underestimate the power of one day. But think back to your life. How many turning points came not from a single grand event, but from a quiet decision you made when no one was watching? A moment when you said, "Enough," or "I'll try again," or "This time I won't give up." That's where destiny shifts, in the hidden, sacred space between intention and action. Gandhi knew that the legacy we leave isn't carved in marble, it's etched in daily choices. It's in the way we carry ourselves through ordinary moments, in the way we forgive, persist, love, and stand firm, even when no one is cheering us on. And maybe right now you're standing at one of those quiet crossroads. Maybe life has pushed you to a place where the next choice you make could change everything. Not because it's dramatic, but because it's real. The future isn't some distant story written by others. It's the chapter you're writing today. So ask yourself, what kind of future are you creating with your words, your habits, your presence? Because one day someone will look back at the way you lived and find either an excuse or inspiration. Gandhi chose to become a living example. He understood that change doesn't wait for heroes. It's born when ordinary people choose to act with extraordinary integrity. And just maybe, that's your invitation too. Not to wait, not to postpone, but to begin. And now, we arrive at the final principle, the one that's perhaps the most misunderstood, yet the most powerful of all. Gandhi believed that real change begins the moment you choose to live as the message. Not speak it, not post about it, live it. He once said, "My life is my message," and those 6 words contain a truth that can shake your soul if you let them. Because at the end of the day, the most powerful sermon is not delivered on a stage. It's whispered through the way you treat people who can do nothing for you. It's reflected in the patience you show when no one is watching. It's carved into the choices you make when you're tired, broken, and tempted to give up. Gandhi didn't ask people to follow him blindly. He became the example they couldn't ignore. He embodied the change he wanted to see, fully and consistently, until his very existence became a beacon that awakened millions. And this is where many of us hesitate. We wait for permission, for signs, for the right moment to start living aligned with what we believe. But life doesn't wait, and neither does truth. Somewhere deep inside, you already know the values that matter to you. You already feel the quiet tug of your soul, asking you to rise above bitterness, fear, or indifference. The question is not whether the world is ready. The question is whether you are. Because here's the reality. You may never know how many lives you touch. You may never see the full impact of your kindness, your resilience, your authenticity, but it matters. More than you can imagine. There might be someone watching you right now, a child, a friend, a stranger, silently learning from the way you live. Your courage might become the spark they need to stand up tomorrow. Your forgiveness might become the seed of healing in a heart you'll never meet again. Your integrity might become the quiet legacy that ripples through generations. Gandhi never set out to become a legend. He set out to live truthfully, and truth, when lived with unwavering conviction, has a way of echoing far beyond a single lifetime. So let me ask you this, honestly. If your life became your message starting today, what would it say? Would it speak of kindness, strength, authenticity, grace, or would it reflect hesitation, fear, and compromise? Because here's the truth most people avoid. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs living examples, people who dare to walk their talk, People who choose alignment over convenience. People who, like Gandhi, understand that greatness isn't about titles, it's about integrity lived daily. And maybe this is the moment your message begins to speak louder than your fears. Maybe this is the night your soul whispers, "No more waiting. It's time." The principles we explored today aren't just relics of history. They are living invitations to rise, to remember, to become. Because the future isn't shaped by extraordinary people doing great things once in a lifetime. It's shaped by ordinary souls doing the right thing, every single day. And that last principle, living as the message, is what turns a single life into a timeless echo. It's what made Gandhi unforgettable, and it's what can make your life a light for others, long after your footsteps fade. So don't just be inspired. Begin.